27 countries have successively received notices from the United States requiring them to impose a 100% tariff on Chinese goods. According to the White House, this move is meant to cut off Russia's energy income and at the same time suppress China through so-called secondary sanctions. This marks a historic moment. Never before have so many countries imposed tariffs on China at the same time. But interestingly, the United States itself didn't act right away. Instead, it asked these 27 allied countries to move first, while the US planned to follow up at the right time. In reality, this looks like Washington shifting the risk and cost onto its allies. The question is, will these 27 countries really comply? And what will China do next? In the first half of this year, most countries around the world have been hit by new US tariffs. In July 2025, President Trump signed an executive order raising tariffs on imports from over 180 countries and regions, including America's closest trading partners. Most countries saw tariffs raised to about 15%, except for a few like the UK and Japan, which have special trade agreements. Although the White House claimed this was about reciprocal tariffs, the real target was clearly China. In February, the US imposed an extra 10% tariff on Chinese goods, electronics, machinery, chemicals, and then added another round within a month, raising the total to 20%. China didn't immediately retaliate, calling instead for negotiation. But by April, things escalated. The US suddenly raised total tariffs on Chinese goods to a shocking 145%. That number is almost unheard of in modern history. But instead of hurting China, the tariffs hit American consumers. Today, about 80% of daily necessities in the US depend on Chinese manufacturing. A 145% tariff meant prices rose 45% on average in American stores. A Tesla Model 3 cost $12,000 more. Even a pack of Lego bricks went up by $50. Trump's policy, in the end, only made US households pay more. On 12 May, after talks in Geneva, both China and the US agreed to cancel 91% of the extra tariffs. Tensions eased, but only briefly. Because behind all this, the US economy was weakening. The IMF had just cut its 2025 global growth forecast to 2.8% and raised the chance of a US recession next year to 40%. At the same time, job data showed clear weakness. In July, non-farm payrolls rose by only 73,000, far below expectations. For Trump, tariffs became a way to bring back manufacturing and jobs, even if it meant starting new trade wars. So why the sudden call for 27 countries to impose 100% tariffs on China? It started on 10 September 2025, when Trump met European officials behind closed doors. The meeting was supposed to focus on Ukraine, but Trump made a surprise proposal. He urged the European Union's 27 member states to unite and impose a 100% tariff on all Chinese goods, claiming it would help end the Ukraine war. His logic? China is one of Russia's biggest energy buyers. Before the war, China imported 80 million tons of Russian oil yearly, worth $35 billion. By 2024, that number surged to 100 million tons, valued at $62 billion, plus 50 billion cubic meters of natural gas. Trump believes cutting this energy trade would force Putin to negotiate. But 8 months into his presidency, there's been little progress. Now, Trump is trying to unite Europe against China, both to hurt Russia and to pressure Beijing. But will Europe agree? Not likely. China is the EU's second largest trading partner after the US and its biggest source of imports. China makes up 21.3% of EU imports. EU exports to China make up 8.3%, worth hundreds of billions of euros. If Europe imposed a 100% tariff, the impact would be devastating. German cars would skyrocket in cost. French cosmetics could lose market share to Japan and Korea. Interestingly, India was also dragged into this fight. As the second largest buyer of Russian oil, India now imports 37% of its oil from Russia. Trump accused India of helping Putin and, on 27 August, imposed an extra 25% tariff on Indian goods. Yet India's buying behavior barely changed. The truth is, tariffs on China or India can't achieve Washington's goals. China's role in the global supply chain is too dominant. The US relies heavily on 198 categories of goods from China, while China relies on only 68 from the US. That imbalance means any tariffs mostly hurt American consumers. If you found this analysis helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Suchit for more updates, insights, and global economic news. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.